The resistance I felt yesterday is exactly the reason why most people don't even start. So, to give you a little recap on what happened, early this year, 2026, I went full in on YouTube by showing up every day. And I was very intentional about the fact that I wanted to show up every day. So, no scripting, no batching, not thinking ahead of time what the title would be. Definitely very ambitious. But the whole point was I want to express myself as a form of art and I want to build that skill. And so, while I'm still looking for my voice and everything that wants to come out, I knew there would be a moment that, you know, things just feel meh, like I don't want to do this, and I had that very strongly yesterday. So most of the time, when I have my little one during the weekends and it's just me and him, I love just being in my mommy energy. And it really takes refinement to do that. And at the same time, have in the back of your mind, like, oh, by the way, I have to create something for today, right? And the past weeks that went really fine. Like it was surprisingly well. Only yesterday, like I didn't feel like it. I really felt like I don't want to have deep conversations. I then found out that I broke my charger of my laptop and I filmed everything off my laptop. And then I was like, that's it, I'm gonna talk about this very short. And I did, but it was already like 2 or 3 p.m. So mind you, like a whole morning, I was still debating on what do I even want to create, meaning that a lot of my attention was there. And if it's something that I really don't like is to not be present. And so it was kind of rubbing against my values. And today he just went to his dad. I took some time to really feel that and to sit with that. Because if you take some time to already examine and evaluate things right after, instead of waiting for, the year to end and then reflect on the things that you could have done better, I think there's a missed opportunity. And so I just kind of trained myself to take those reflections whenever I feel that need. And I was like, what is it? What wants to come out? And so I understood, like, yeah, it's because it's rubbing against your values as a mom, because you feel like you cannot fully be present with him and create, because you don't always have that insight of what you want to share, right? But then I also look at it from the other side, like, okay, how did I do the past like 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks now? How did I do it? And then I was like, one day we start creating soaps and I kind of show people that, the other day we went to Tulum and I had a very short 5-minute clip about that. And then I just took my phone with me and here and there made some snaps. And in the evening when I got home, I edited and it made it a full, beautiful story. So long story short, every time I was with my son, I was using what was happening to create the content and basically saw life as my art form. And even though I knew that, I didn't really because I wasn't really, really aware of that. So yesterday, instead of just doing that again, which I ended up doing by sharing how my charger didn't work, I first had a whole journey of trying to figure out what on earth do I want to share today. And this is the resistance I think a lot of people have. Like before starting, they're like, what if I don't know what to do? Or what if I run out of ideas? Or what if it conflicts with my personal time? Or what if I don't feel like it? Or et cetera, et cetera. And there's one thing, and that's also why I really took the time to reflect, because there's one thing that I knew for sure, I'm not going to quit. I'm in the game for the good. And I was writing it out too while I was doing my reflection earlier. I was like, because I'm so done with sitting on the sidelines watching other people do it or, debating with myself, all those silent moments in quiet. Um, and now I'm like, no, I'm in it and I love being in it. And it's actually in these hard moments that not only do you build your character, you refine yourself, you get to know things more about yourself. And for example, I now see how I did it the past weeks. I apparently was in a different energy back then. And so I was in that creative energy where like, oh, I just embrace this moment. I wasn't able to embrace the moment yesterday until later, right? But eventually I made a pattern. So now for me, it's easy to see that pattern, like, this is how I can resolve that, you know? Um, Talking about games. So yesterday, because I was with my little one, and while he was eating his lunch, I made that short video and he watched me doing that. And so after we finished our dinner, it was like a lunch dinner. You will understand. I will link it above. You can watch it. But as we finished, he was like, "Mom, I want to make a video for the audience too." And I'm like, "Okay." So we hit record, and he wanted to show you guys what he created. And there was a game attached to it because he was like, "I want them to guess what it is." So before I show you this, or I'm gonna show you this, but before I tell the story behind this, you can first guess what it is. What do you think this is? And I will probably show a little bit of that clip that we made together because early this morning he was like, "Mom, what did they say?" And I'm like, "I didn't post it because I didn't feel like that part was really for yesterday's episode." But the beauty is life's the art form, right? Today, because of the analogy of I want to be in the game, I don't want to be on the sidelines. I was thinking about this basketball field where, you're either in the game or you're not. So this is actually a basketball court. These are like balls, basketball balls. Um, and that's what he created. And I was thinking, yeah, because I want to be in the game. And that means refinement. That means sometimes it doesn't really, like, I don't feel like it, or I have mom guilt, or, I don't have inspiration or whatever. Like, I know. But for me, that commitment that I made to myself and then also for you, and to show you that if I can do it as a mom, you guys can do it too. We all have busy lives, but it's like I think my why is bigger than the excuses. And I think the fact that I tried so many times before is also for me a reason to continuously show up, to humble myself. And with humble myself, I think this is humbling, to really be like, yeah, it can be a bit but also to know that, but I have full faith and I want to go full in. And that's also what I wrote down in my reflection. End of the day, another benefit is I am building my skill. And building a skill, it's not a straight line. Life never is, really. And it really reminds me also of the fashion course that I follow, because I don't know what is with algorithms, but lately I get the most incredibly talented artists on my feeds, both on YouTube and on Instagram. And there are two ladies in particular. I think I found one on Instagram and the other one on YouTube, or they found me. But they're creating their beautiful pieces from scratch. One is using old thrifted clothing and creates something out of nowhere. Like, it's like incredible what she does with it. And then the other just creates her entire wardrobe from scratch. And yesterday I saw one of them pass by and I love what she created. And I was like, Ash, do you realize that if you stop seeing it just as playing, but if you take this serious, then you can get to that level where you can really, really get that good, where it doesn't take you months, literally, because it took me months to create that skirt that I created. But it can take you a few hours to create an entire dress or an entire outfit. And I was like, oh my God, that actually really excites me. And so it's like, yeah, it started as play and it started as curiosity, but I can actually make this a real thing. And that's actually also how I look at this. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. And I feel very emotional because I don't know why. I just feel emotional because it's just, this is what it's about. When you start something and you don't know what's the outcome, in those moments that you feel like, um, this would have been the reason why I would never have started in the first place. The unknown, but what would I do if? Let me tell you, this is like the third time I'm crying on the camera, guys. But let me tell you, because it is what it is. please just know and assume that it will get tough. That's it. Just assume it. It's like, yeah, it will. Just like every learning curve will be. Just like, it has to kind of start fitting in your life, even though it's welcome and even though you love it most of the days. It's like having a newborn. I'm not sure if you ever had a baby, but it's like you love your baby so much, but it can be so tiring and so demanding and so you know. And that's kind of how I feel like this too. Not really comparing my ambition with YouTube with a baby, but I think you understand the whole thing. It's like, yeah, you will lose some of your, like in cases of kids, like some of your freedom, but you get so much more back. And for me, knowing that I am facing all the objections and there's nothing in me that wants to stop. And last night I went on until really late to get the odds in or the edits in, the edits in. The little one's already sleeping, and I did the edit because I wanted to edit some of the videos that I made of my phone instead. And then it took forever to upload to the point where it was literally 12 o'clock when it finally uploaded on YouTube. And so it showed as 25th of January instead of the 24th. But I'm like, whatever. I made it today. It still comes from me. And it is what it is. Actually, I love the fact that it showed as 25th of January because it's not about that. It's not about that perfectionism. It's not about that. It's about showing up and being in the game. And yeah, I'm looking at this beautiful, like, I'm so like amazed how he creates from his uh, Lego pieces, just things like this. I think is amazing, and I always applaud that. I love how he's always creative, and I love that I can use the little footage that we created because that's also something that I was struggling with. Like, how much do I want to expose him to this? How much do I want to expose him to the internet and all that? And honestly, I have, because on Instagram, I have exposed him, but not to the point where he's constantly in the frame. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's a balance. It's balance. Like I'm not gonna completely like shut him off because he's part of my life, and I don't feel the need to completely make him unrecognizable. But at the same time, I am not going to exploit my kid on YouTube in this case, and become a family channel. So I made that very clear too. But that was also something that I had to really feel through yesterday. Like, how far do I want to go with this? But I think he will be very happy to hear that I did end up editing his little piece as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Would love to hear from you. And yeah, resistance is going to be there. There will be tough moments. That's normal. Embrace it. And those are the moments where you actually get to refine. Those are the moments where you build, your character, where you become clearer about what you want and what you don't want. And in my case, now it's simple. If I have him full day, like when he's not at school, like in the weekends, then I just embrace the fact that he's with me. And then whatever I will create will be around that. Even though it's not my ambition to be a vlogger and a family vlogger, I'm like, well, for now, I will still have my own creative freedom on how I want to tackle that. But whatever it is, it's not going to be a no. I will continue to show up. And as I continue to build on my voice and to share stories. Thank you guys so much for watching. Ciao.